What's up, everybody? It's time to get those fall garden crops out. So today we're planting collards, kale, 2 types of radishes, and some purple top turnips. I've already cleaned these beds out from what we had in the summer in here, and I'm putting all these in here. But we're also going to plant some fall crops in our in-ground gardens that are scattered across the farm. So if you haven't done so yet, now's the time to get your fall crops in the ground. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. So I am up here at the box beds today, and I am getting these box beds ready for our fall garden. So what's going on here is we got hit with tomato hornworms the other day, and they annihilated our tomato plants. So you see most of these 2 beds right here, they're empty. That's because all the tomato plants have been ripped out and they're piled up all around here. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up. I'm gonna get the area around the beds cleaned up, and then I'm gonna start prepping these to get ready to start putting our fall seeds out. So stick around, I'm gonna get this started, and I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. All right, so I got those beds cleaned out around. I got the tomatoes that were piled around outside that we ripped out. I got them taken off. That sun has popped out. It got about 1,000 degrees out here. I'm actually hearing thundering way off in the distance, and there wasn't really supposed to be much rain today, but maybe I can get this done, get my seeds in the ground, and maybe we'll get lucky and get a rain on it today, and we can go ahead and get this fall garden started. But I'm gonna get the tiller out. I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna till these 2 beds back here behind me up. Then I'm gonna come level them out, and then I'll show you the seeds that we're gonna plant for the fall garden here in these box beds as soon as I get that done. All right, so we've got this all tilled. I went ahead and dumped a bucket of rabbit poop on it, and the bucket broke on me actually in the process. So that bucket is going to be pitched because that's a really old bucket. But this was really dry. This was at least a year old, and so I've just kind of stirred it in here a little bit. I'm going to work it in a little bit more, but I've got the seeds out ready to go. So we're going to plant some blue curled Scotch kale. We've got 2 different kinds of radishes here. So we've got a pink beauty and a purple plum radish. So we're going to plant both of those. We love collards here, so I'm going to put some collards out. It's always a little hit or miss. You never know. It's maybe a bit late for collards, but I have planted them in September before, and they will produce all through the winter. I mean, I've picked collards out of these beds here in December and January for us to eat. And then the last thing is I'm going to plant a bunch of purple top turnips. I'm not only going to put turnips in part of these beds, but in my wildlife food plot, I'm going to mix in quite a few purple top turnips over there. So I've got probably half an acre of wildlife food plot that you can see more about that over on the Outdoors channel that we have, TN Outdoors Fanatic. There'll be more information about the wildlife food plot and the purple top turnips in there. But I'm going to get this started. I'm going to start laying out some areas here to start spreading some seed. All right, so I just use this stick, and all I'm doing is just kind of laying out zones in the bed here. So I'm going to start off here with the collards, and I'm just going to put some seeds in the hand. And the good thing really about these fall crops is you really don't have to do a whole lot of stuff to them. A lot of times it's considered to be just a throw and grow type crop. You can throw it out here. When you water it in, it'll settle down into the very upper layer of soil, and it will begin to germinate just like that. So got this one done here now. Now I'm going to move on and plant the next thing. All right, so up next is going to be some kale. Once again, we love kale. We eat it raw, we cook it, Taryn and I will come out here and just pull kale off and snack on it while we're out in the yard. And you know, we'll also pull some off and feed it to the rabbits. Well, now just her one pet rabbit. She don't have 2 anymore. But all right, so there's the kale, and you see I'm just kind of sprinkling this stuff around. I'm not really going to great detail to get it spread out evenly or push it into the ground. What we'll probably do is we'll probably just wet this in a little bit with a sprinkler hose, and then we'll just lightly walk across it, or I may use the rake to just pat it down and get a lot of contact with the soil. Next up is going to be the Pink Beauty radishes here. That's actually all of the package. I'm using all of that. And the cool thing is, you can actually eat the greens off of all these too. So we harvest the radish tops and we actually cook them just like you do your other greens. All right, last thing I'm gonna put out is the purple plum radish. I'm gonna do these over here on the other end beside the basil, and then I'm gonna move down here to the next bed for the turnips. So well, that's going to be it for this. As you saw, you know, there's really not a lot to a fall garden. To me, it's the easiest garden you can put out. I mean, the spring gardens, we love putting the spring gardens out. They take quite a bit of work because you have weeds coming on as the spring gardens are progressing. So you got to keep them weeded and maintained. Summer gardens are obviously the most work in my opinion because there's just so much going on with a summer garden. These fall gardens, basically, the way I do it is I seed it and I forget it. And I don't mess with them. I just go back and check them about 4 weeks later, and like the radishes will be ready to be picked by then. They usually have about a 25-day or so window before they're ready to be picked. Turnips are going to be longer than that. Kale and collards, you know, they're going to each have their own little duration before they're ready to be harvested. But fall gardens, in my opinion, are always so easy, and that's so welcome to us after such a long spring and summer garden period where we're very busy. It's really hot. Fall gardens are a much welcome relief in a way because it's easy. It's so much simpler. If you've never done a fall garden, give it a try. A lot of people only think they can plant summer gardens. Next year, try doing a spring garden with your leafy greens and beets and onions and those sort of things. But you still have time this year to do a fall garden if you've never done one. If you like the leafy greens, if you like turnips, radishes, those sort of things, there's still plenty of time to get them planted right now. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you go in and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you've ever done a fall garden, if you're going to do one this year, or what your thoughts are. Have a wonderful day. God bless.
And now we spray him!
No, we don't spray me.